Hello and welcome to the 18th episode. Is it the 18th? 17th episode of the Coaster Lounge. Are we going? We're going. Here on Wednesday, the 21st of June, 2017. Today we have the normal members, Aron and Brendan.
Hi guys.
Hello.
But we're also joined by a very special guest. You might know him as Silvarret on YouTube. Go check him out.
Sorry. Amazing.
So, today we are going to be doing the normal stuff. We're going to be following our normal schedule at the top left, you see. So, yeah, it's going to be like last time, a bit different. So, you might actually be able to hear some music in the background. I don't know how loud that is. If it's too quiet, then let me know. If it's too loud, let me know. If it's rubbish, let me know. And I'll just get rid of it. I might turn it up a bit, actually. There we go. So, hello. We're here.
Hey.
We're back. So, go on, Sylvain. Why don't you plug yourself while I...
Yeah. So basically, I'm Silvarret. I just joined into the chat 5 minutes ago, and Harry was like, "Join me in the live stream," and I was like, "Oh yeah, fine, sounds good." But we're gonna pretend that this has all been a little bit more professional, I suppose. So yeah, what do? I have a YouTube channel. I make Planet Coaster videos, which means that I don't go to theme parks as much as I like to pretend I design theme parks in video games, and the latter is basically what I do mostly. Although I'm also a big follower of all theme park news, and I'm a pretty big theme park enthusiast in general, so yeah, that's basically me. I guess I'm supposed to plug my own channel over here as well.
Yeah, you can do that.
So,
I'm nowhere near that.
Yeah, okay, good. If you're into Planet Coaster or anything roller coasters related, then especially when it comes to gaming, then you should check out my channel. Maybe leave subscribe. Only if you like the content though, I don't force you to. But yeah, that's basically what I do. I hope Harry is done by now, otherwise I'm gonna have to do some awkward extension of my plugging. Maybe I'm gonna do a Minecraft series in the future. That would be great.
That would be amazing.
How
we can do Roblox multiplayer.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Let's
just for the death sounds alone.
that'd be perfect, guys. I think we should all just make a Roblox channel and just heap-ho at it. Anywho, let's get back on schedule now. Oh man, you're not far from 10k. Yes, so recently, as of a few days ago, we hit 10,000. We hit 8,000 subscribers, which is incredible. It's been pretty quick since 7,000, and as Damo says, we're on the road to 10k. Hopefully, you can reach 10k. Definitely by the end of the year. That's the plan. And it should come to life. In other news, go on.
And we also hit 1 million views.
We did
as well last week.
Yes. So 1 million views. It's a crazy amount of views. To that person who's watched 1 million times, because there's only one of you, obviously. Well done for watching. I don't know how you did it. It's too many views for me.
To be honest, 1 million really is a lot.
No, it truly is. So it's ridiculous to think that like 1 million people or 1 million clicks have been made onto my channel. That's ridiculous. I think that's channel updates wise, things are going out as normal. There should be the vlog from Alton Towers that Aron started coming up today or tomorrow. It's edited and exported, so I'll just have to upload it and put a thumbnail on it. That's good, so that'll be coming out soon. Hopefully there'll be another Theme Park Explained video coming out soon, very soon. And then after that you've got to look forward to some Dutch roller coasters, or one, and then back to the States for some more what is from there. So yeah, there's not that much going on the channel really, just a lot of milestones being hit. So we're going to swiftly move on to theme park news. Aron, take it away.
I mean, there's a lot to talk about. Obviously, we've got my personal favorite. We've got Phantasialand announcing their flying coaster for, I think, probably like July 2018, but it could be 2019. It's going to be the first ever launched flying coaster, and it will also be the longest flying coaster in the world. So that is something to look forward to. It's like 90% sure that's going to be Vekoma.
Looking at the concept art, those restraints and the design of the restraints definitely Vekoma, and all of the rumors have stated Vekoma. So
The track as well, I think. Like, I don't know if I remember correctly, but it kind of looked like the triangular new Vekoma track.
yeah, well, it's a very, very exciting development, and yeah, can't wait to see what they do.
Isn't that kind of a reason why it's exciting? For me, at least, personally, I thought it was exciting because I think the recent projects from Vekoma have kind of showed that they can actually make some good stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially like looking at Lech Coaster, like it could be a project where Vekoma could prove themselves and show the world, hey, we're back in business now.
Yeah, and Phantasialand just has been putting out just quality for the last 10 years. So like, they're gonna invest in some rubbish coaster now, right after investing in Taron. So the theming is also probably gonna be top notch. I mean, when they opened Kluckheim, they had an interview in which they said that from that point on, every project, a larger percentage of the budget was going to be spent on theming. So I think we're looking at an epic project coming to Phantasialand.
Definitely. I mean, as well as the fact that it's something that's completely different, a launched flying coaster, that's going to be something interesting in its own self. And then also with the Vekoma, they put out some patents a while ago where, the train actually, the cars can rotate around the kind of plane of the track. So it means that you can have some fancy loading station. And Vekoma, well, I think that Vekoma had recently been testing it with that little outside testing track that they made. I think that's for the flying coaster loading concept. It might not be, but it looks, to me, that's what it looks like. So
yeah, I think so as well.
Yeah.
So
So
they've sort of been secret. They've sort of been like secret about it, and Phantasialand is usually very secret around their projects as well. So if it were for something else, I would kind of feel like they might be more open to talk about it. But then again, that's just completely rough guesses. But yeah, I think it's also for the same project.
yeah.
Yeah, it could be, but the track that they did test on was, I believe it had like trains on the side of the track and not under it.
Yeah, but I think the whole point of that is that the trains, while loading, the trains are on the side of the track, so riders can essentially just walk straight up to the train and just get in it. That's the whole premise. Because if you look at the testing track, it does go into a flying, well, just an inverted track kind of style, shortly after this little straight section at the bottom. So
yeah, true.
And I mean, I don't know how you build roller coasters, like what comes first, but I imagine building the train comes after building the track. I don't know. So I guess that would give them more time to, if it is a new prototype, to get that prototype ready. If it was for the new Phantasialand flying coaster.
Yeah, I think it's exciting either way. Because if it is, then it's for sure going to be a super unique way to load and unload the coaster. But if it isn't, then Vekoma has some other weird stuff coming down the pipeline.
Yes, definitely. Other news, we've got the Mind Blower POV. That came out and looks pretty solid. Lovely, small, compact, cheeky inversion in there.
But the supports for the inversion are just
if you ignore the supports
they are not
that look like trash, then
what do you think, Still?
I haven't seen this actually.
Ooh.
Oh, you have to go and watch it while we babble on about it. So some of the aspect I've listened to other people's discussion, and something I listened to someone up. Jesus.
Well, I do remember they had a support going through the cars on like the cinematic like render before they started making it on the announcement. So it's gonna be better than that, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's just this. Essentially, it's just this huge steel bridge that looks out of place, and the track kind of goes along it, but it doesn't look symmetrical or good in any way. It just looks really boxy and wrong.
Right.
That's what we're kind of talking about.
Still, though, the layout looks amazing.
Yeah.
So.
It's really compact, but it does pack a punch.
Yeah, what I was trying to say is some people said that it had kind of a GCI vibe to it in some parts, and I think it's quite true. There are some elements that you'd find commonly on a GCI rather than a Gravity Group coaster, but still, it looks fantastic, and it's going to be very interesting to see if other parks make similar compact Gravity Group coasters like that. It's got a weird little drop into the station though. That's weird.
Yeah, I exactly. I didn't know why they put that there.
No, it's
because
very
there
odd.
wasn't any track running under the brake section as far as I know.
Oh yeah, what the hell?
Yeah.
I don't really know why they did that.
It looks pretty funky though.
Oh, it is. And yeah, there's a backwards POV of it, and if you watch the backwards POV, it makes it seem a whole lot faster. It goes through pretty quick. Some of the elements.
Well, I love the look of this though. Like the way it kind of looks like a traditional Woody with the white supports and everything, but it still has very classical elements. Very classic. The layout is smooth as hell. Wow.
Yeah, the layout is really good.
Isn't it all metal? The supports.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I'm
does
not
look
a
a little
big
bit
fan of the
flimsy,
white.
but I think it works because it's a very compact coaster. Like
Well,
if it
it's
were
something
wood-
FunSpot always does with their Woodies.
True. But I also feel like if it were real wooden beams, like since it's so compact, it would have been like a maze. You couldn't really see apart from just wooden beams everywhere. And at least this makes it feel a little bit more open.
Yeah.
And as Diago just said, price tag of only $6 million US. That's pretty good.
That's low.
Price-wise,
That's pretty decent.
especially.
I mean,
if you're a
this should be
small
an
park.
off-the-shelf thing.
Yeah, well, I imagine it might get cloned in the future. So yeah, very interesting developments. What else we got? We got Viking Voyage opened at Tato Park. That little water ride. I don't know if you two have seen it. Or three.
Yeah, I've
Never
seen
heard
it.
of it.
Oh, okay.
What is this thing called?
Viking
Voyage?
Yeah, at Tato Park.
I mean,
Wow.
the helmet and all looked pretty cool, but I'm just not too big on water rides.
Oh, I have seen this.
The thing is, if you actually look, it looks really good from the outside, but when you start to eye it up properly, it looks really kind of rushed. Some of the indoor bits look quite flimsy, and there's certain aspects where you can like see into the actual support structure of the facade. It is weird. And there's not much going on indoors. It's not like Valhalla where the whole thing's, the whole indoor show. Still, it looks pretty solid investment for Tato. It hasn't got huge riders per hour, so like 700, but Tato Park doesn't really need that.
Yeah, they don't need it.
And it's better than the unthemed Kuka Lane, so at least they're, trying to starting to do theming. That's definitely a good step forward. It's nowhere near as Valhalla. Yeah, Valhalla's pretty good. Yeah, it does look awful inside Viking Voyage. It's the thing. It looks kind of half-assed. They're like, let's make the
It's
outside look
also
good.
kind of got a sort of plastic look to it. To me, like it doesn't look very weathered. The textures are quite simple. It has a bit of a plastic playhouse look to it for me.
Yeah,
But
it's true.
the general design is very well thought out. It's just, I don't know, it's not quite as good as it could have been, I feel.
I mean, I guess it's a good start for the park as theming goes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, they haven't really invested a lot in theming so far,
No.
as far as I know. So
Yeah.
I think it's a good start.
Definitely. Someone just put something else on that I missed. I've forgotten now.
Are we gonna talk about the wildfire at all?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
go for it.
Very good
open.
news to talk about.
Go on then.
Well, basically the news is that wildfire is gonna open this summer again. I don't know exactly all the details, so you might.
It
wanna fill in on
opened
that.
today, I believe.
Today or
It
yesterday?
opened today.
I'm pretty sure yesterday even. It
Yeah.
reopened
Wow.
yesterday. Yeah.
Let's check RCDB. See if, no, it doesn't say. Yeah, I
At
think
least-
it reopened yesterday.
According to Loopings, it reopened yesterday.
Mm,
So that's exciting.
there you go. Go hop on Wildfire
Oh, yeah, you're right.
if you want a nice RMC ride. Looks pretty solid to be fair. Very solid.
Yeah, I mean,
It's pretty solid. Was the understatement.
yeah,
Right there.
amazing.
If it's good, it's pretty solid. There's no tier above that. That's it.
It's decent.
Yeah, it's pretty good. 5 out of
It's all
7.
right.
I mean, it's probably up there with like Flying Fish and. I mean,
Flying Fish
so-
though. Whoa, 10 out of 10 every day.
The operators though,
Yeah.
they were 10 out of 10.
The operators and the guy recognized the CoasterBot logo, so that was pretty cool.
But to me, Wildfire just looks like Lightning Rod, but with the right length. I mean, Lightning Rod is just too short in my opinion,
A little bit.
and Wildfire just goes the extra mile.
Literally.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And the fact it's a lot more terrain based as well. Even though both are,
yeah.
but still, Wildfire is a lot more terrain based than.
The only
Lightning
thing
Rod.
that I kind of feel Wildfire sort of lacks is those very close to the ground, low parts that some RMCs have, where they have very quick little bunny hops and curves,
Yeah.
which is
Just
still
like
very
the
intense.
quadruple
Even though
down.
Yeah,
yeah, it's like stuff that you have in Storm Chaser and Wicked Cyclone.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think Storm Chaser needs that though, doesn't it? Because it's
Yeah,
the
it's so
shortest
small.
of them. So
It's like smaller than some of the last drops of Wildfire. Well, not quite, but it's a small coaster.
Yeah.
But still, that's one of the things that I find most impressive about RMC, like how much thrill they're able to pull out of a super small coaster and very small elements. And you know, Wildfire is amazing. It's huge and it's great, but it doesn't have to, you know, do so much effort to actually be thrilling while also being small at the same time.
no, it's very true. Oh man, King's Dominion put out the 816 teaser. Obviously, we know that. Well, it's been alleged that King's Dominion is going to RMC Hurler. And then with this 816 teaser, people are thinking, all right, there's going to be some sort of announcement on the 16th of August to announce the RMC coaster. So that's very exciting for that park to finally get a new roller coaster after it's been 7 years so far. Last one was Intimidator 305. So I'm sure many King's Dominion fans are happy to be getting a new coaster. Hopefully next year, I imagine. As well as, you know, RMC Mean Streak as well next year.
Yeah, it's just good to see that Cedar Fair is kind of investing in their other parks now. From Cedar Point.
But still, Cedar Point gets way too many investments.
Yeah, I mean they're still getting RMC Mean Streak
After
but
2 years.
It's not just Cedar Point getting the rights now.
No, but come on, 2 years. That's a hefty. I mean, it might be what Phantasialand are doing though. So.
Phantasialand's going crazy, man. I honestly didn't
Yeah.
expect them to build another roller coaster. I honestly thought they were gonna go for like a flying theater or something like that.
It's just so
but no.
instantly as well.
Yeah, and the announcement itself was so unexpected
Yeah.
because they hadn't started any construction yet.
Well,
It's
they
just
might
been-
have behind the. No one's seen into this little area that have been housed off.
Yeah, but like right before the fences were put up, they were still removing trees and stuff. So
But there's cranes on site, or there was at some point. So
yeah.
no, we don't really know what's behind that thing.
Phantasialand is just so good at keeping their secrets. It's annoying.
Fantasia is just so good at everything.
Yeah, they really are. They just have to get rid of Temple of the Nighthawk right
I was
now.
just about to say that.
And Hollywood Tour as well. Like, it's just so terrible. That whole area is quite large for like compared to the size of the actual park. They have so much space when they just remove Temple and Hollywood Tour.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so much potential. But obviously they have to keep down the noise levels because that's the side of the park closest to Buell.
Yeah, but still, you could build a decent Vekoma family dark ride in there.
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
something similar.
they just need a good dark ride. I mean, the Geisterreiche is shit as well. I mean, it's probably
Family channel, guys, family channel.
But I mean, honestly, it's
Sorry.
the most boring dark ride I've ever been on. After Hollywood Tour, which are both at the same park, so that's not really a good thing.
That's fair.
At least they've
It's
got
like
space.
their thrill rides are all really amazing, but then Phantasialand kind of doesn't go the extra mile on their family rides and everything.
Yeah, you
like
can
that.
just really tell which rides were constructed before their like extreme theming.
Mhm.
Just everything they built after 2000 has been amazing, and everything before is just kind of meh.
Mm-hmm.
Just yeah, the contrast is just a bit too big now. But I'm sure they'll get that straight in the future because they simply don't have any room to expand. So they're gonna have to refurbish rides instead of expand.
So what you're saying is you liked them before they were popular?
No,
really.
it's more like he doesn't like the fact that there's like some newer stuff mixed with the stuff that they made before they were popular.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he didn't like them until they were popular.
Not very consistent, and I can kind of see that.
Have you actually been to Fantasia and Sylv?
No, but I've seen just about everything. You don't know how much I want to go there, but every plan I've ever had to go just kind of stranded.
Coastal Lounge outing to Phantasialand. Let's go right now. Whoa.
Right now.
Look at my goods.
I wish as well. It's such a top part that I want to go to.
Maybe next year, Harry. Maybe next year.
Yes, that's the plan, or hopefully anyway.
It's a very, very early.
Yeah.
Like it's in the very early stages, but it's a plan.
It's definitely a plan.
In early stages doesn't help. I've been planning with people for over 2 years to go to Phantasialand, and it's still not happening. Like the only thing that happens is every once in a while somebody just kind of says, "Hey, you remember that plan of going to Phantasialand? Maybe we could go this and this day." And people are just like, I'm not sure, and then you forget about it for a few.
Yeah.
You need to make it concrete, otherwise.
That's true. It's true. Anyway, is there any more theme park news that we can talk about?
Probably, but I just can't think of it.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything either. You know, you've got the general construction of everything else going on still. When's Lech Coast opening?
I'm not sure. I think pretty soon.
Yeah, it must be opening soon because obviously it's been finished for a while. It's finished.
They think it's gonna be July.
July.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
So we'll see that opening soon.
Not like we're gonna be able to get on it, but
No,
still.
it's true. But still, though, we'll see what other people say about it. Be
Yeah.
very interesting to hear. Icon tunnels. Okay. Icon's got some nice grass now, so that's pretty cool as well. There's some grass going about the big old concrete pit, so that looks
That's
nice.
really nice.
Yeah, no track though, not yet.
Who
SW8's
needs
getting track.
when there's grass?
Oh, SW8's getting the big old theming element, which looks completely badass. With 3 separate interactions with the track, so that's pretty cool. I don't know if you've seen that, but definitely go check that out. Other than that, I think we're pretty much done for news-wise. Oh yeah, Disneyland Paris is now
Owned by Disney.
yes.
Yep.
So that's good
I'm
news to hear.
happy.
Finally. Hopefully
Yeah,
that
they
park
really needed that.
They're hopefully gonna fix their park.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean they've been struggling ever since they opened the park, so it really was time for a change.
See, I wasn't
So-
sure about this because from what I've heard and read,
Mm-hmm.
actually a lot of the money actually goes to Disney because they have to order and
Yeah,
they
just
have
a-
to like write a lot of
mostly.
costs off to Disney, and they're also part of Disney. So while like looking at the numbers, the park loses money. In a way, part of that money is still going to Disney, and I've also kind of always seen it as a bit of a Disney billboard. Like it's part of the Disney brand. It's there for public relations in a sense.
Mhm.
So I think it's still something that's quite a moneymaker for Disney. But of course, I'm not an expert into it, and I don't know the numbers. But I think it's still quite successful for Disney. But for the park itself, I think it's great that it's been finally taken over completely by Disney.
Mhm.
It's definitely true. I just saw something else. Symbolica opens soon as well.
Oh yeah,
That's
Yep.
was that 1st of July?
1st of July. Yeah.
Yeah, 1st of July.
It's gonna be some fancy animatronics in there.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I'm just not. I mean, Sylv is kind of the expert here, but I'm just not a big fan of the facade. I just-
Okay, the facade is the only thing I can talk about because, to be honest, I've not seen a single thing about Symbolica. I haven't watched any of the how it's made videos. I've ignored all the pictures of what it looks like from the inside. I'm trying to keep
okay.
it like completely unknown for the first time that I'll ride it.
Yeah.
But the facade, I'm very divided on. I think they did as good as they can for the situation that they're in and for the money that they paid, but there's just inherently kind of this problem with, you know, it being the Efteling and building a dark ride in the middle of the park, that you get this big gray box in the middle of the park, and it's a boxy building, and you don't really notice from the front, but from all other directions it doesn't really work out as well.
Exactly. They kind of it's just too much to cover up with theming, and
yeah,
I mean they only have like 4 towers, which I think was kind of they could.
I think it's good actually.
Well, it doesn't really look like a castle now.
It actually kind of does look like a realistic castle. It just doesn't really look like a Disney castle, and Disney castles are sort of the standard type of castle that you're getting used to, where it's just a bunch of towers in a sort of triangular setting, where it also kind of towers up to the middle part. But I'm actually kind of glad that they went for a more watered down approach that's a bit more modest, because honestly, to me it feels a little bit more Efteling to just have a few towers and instead lavishly decorate those towers in a way that's much more extravagant and ridiculous than Disney's towers are. Because even though Disney castles have a lot of towers, they're all very similar and they're not as ridiculously decorated as the Eftelings are. So I think that actually fits all right. It's just the fact that they have to mask an enormous building, and they kind of feel out of place when you look at the big grey box underneath them.
Well, that's like kind of the thing. Like the towers themselves look cool and all, but the building is just, it just kind of focuses on like the little entrance bit, and then the rest is just a big warehouse with a little bit of grey paint on it, and some trees, and it's just not it just doesn't feel like it's fully Efteling worthy, at least.
No, I totally agree with it.
Yeah.
When I first saw some of the concept art as well, I thought they would actually mask it quite well, but I feel like it's just out of order compared to the size of the rest of the building. But that said, I kind of want to wait until it settles down over years and the foliage grows around it, and it's summer again. Like, I can see it in summer again, because the last time I saw it was in winter, so you could see through all the trees around it, and that just made it look like a horrible wound in the park. Like, actually, it completely manages to throw off the look of the park, because it's a beautiful park and they have this big gray box in the middle. But hopefully once the foliage grows and like comes a lot more lush around it, I think hopefully they can mask the building and make it invisible apart from the section that has the towers. But yeah, it's quite a difficult position. Like, I'm not the biggest fan, but I think they couldn't have done much better of the budgets and the constraints that they have.
Yeah, I mean, maybe some more rock work would have done something.
Sorry, can we get a hashtag rock work in here, please? Carry on.
But yeah, it just needs some time, definitely. But it's just, the thing is, it's such a centerpiece, and the fact that it only looks good from one side isn't really what you're looking for such a big centerpiece for a park.
Yeah, but then again, I don't know. I'm not sure. I think it might work from other sides as well.
Yeah, true. I haven't been there myself either.
Oh, you've seen it you haven't seen it in real life? Because I do think I do think it does look a little bit better in real life than on pictures. Or at least that's the thing.
Well, we'll see.
I think they also invested most of their money in the interior of the ride, because to be honest, Efteling has never been a park to very much put their buildings on display. Like, for example, the Droomvlucht building is a really amazing building with a dome on top of it, and you barely see it. And it's all very hidden away behind the foliage and everything. So hopefully Symbolica kind of gets that same touch. I think it could fit in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the inside looks amazing. And I've seen one animatronic, and it's so realistic. It's kind of like the Elsa one in Frozen. It's just that quality of animatronic. So it's gonna be amazing from the inside. So don't worry about that.
Yeah, it's gonna be something to behold. And what, it's meant to have 3 different routes?
Yeah, 3.
So at least we've got some rewritability there as well.
But though I don't imagine only one route is, or like people with disabilities can only go on one route, which I thought was kind of weird.
Maybe it's something to do with the fact that that route stays level on the ground. I don't know if they're multi-tiers.
Well, I don't think it has to do with level, but just like the cars which seat the disabled people are only programmed to go that route.
It's weird.
Still, it's a bit odd.
Yeah. Definitely.
Well, I have no idea. I don't want to spoil anything for myself, and I'm going there on the 1st of July, so
Oh, really?
we'll see how it's gonna be.
Fancy.
Nice. And that's actually like actually gonna happen.
That's actually gonna happen, yeah.
Ooh,
It might be
Gonna be one of
horrible
the
though,
worst.
because the one thing that kind of made me a little bit mad is the fact that they have 3 different routes. And knowing the Efteling, even though it's a ride that looks to have a decent throughput, knowing the Efteling, the queue is going to be horrible. So if you want to do all 3 rides, you're going to have to just do Symbolica all day.
Especially on opening day. It's gonna
Yeah.
be crazy.
We're screwed.
But I mean, you at least you're like going into it expecting huge crowds, so that's at least.
Oh yeah, and it's looking like it's gonna rain, and I know everybody else in the group is like, no, it's gonna rain, but secretly I love it when it rains because it means that those pesky general publishers, they're all gonna be wielded out of the park.
yeah.
So
Puts people off.
hopefully that will happen.
Well, very exciting news. You have to keep us posted about your thoughts of Symbolica.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think.
Is there anything else?
I don't think so. I think we're pretty much sorted. Well, at least
then.
at least we have been talking about this for like half an hour. So now it's time for Aaron to speak about his trips for half an hour. Cue trip reports.
Half an hour.
Go.
You can do it.
So
I
Aaron,
believe
tell
in
us
you.
about where you've been over your great trip.
So, I visited Harry on the, what was it? The 11th, 12th, and
Yeah.
13th of June. And we visited both Alton Towers and Thor Park, both parks to which I had never been before. So it was just really good.
It was.
We started off the second day, or like the first day was just kind of a travel day, and we just walked around Birmingham a bit. But then on Monday we went to Alton Towers, and we were really lucky because it was pretty much dead in the park.
Yeah.
And the weather was pretty okay as well, even though the report said it was gonna rain for like a couple hours.
Yeah, it didn't, so we were pretty
So-
sorted.
We started up. We just wanted to start off with the best ride at the park, so we went straight to the Octonauts roller coaster,
Obviously.
and we got a first ride front row on that.
Yep.
So that's something to check off the bucket list.
It's true. I mean, I hadn't been on it either, so that was a first for me. Yeah.
We just went there simply because on like a decently crowded day, it gets some queues. We thought, let's just get it over with. It's near the entrance anyway, so we
Yeah.
just went there. Then we headed straight for Oblivion because it was still exclusive ride time
Yeah.
from 9 to 10. So there were only like 3 rides,
I think
or
it's
like 5 rides were
Nemesis,
open-ish.
Oblivion, The Blade, and all of CBB's Land. So,
So we had a couple rides on Oblivion.
Yeah.
And then we queued for the Smiler to get a first ride front row, which we got.
that was good.
And then something interesting happened.
Oh.
Because when we got back into the station, the second train of the day was actually going around the track, and the ride broke down
Yep.
after the second train.
How
So,
curious.
according to the news, we had to be evacuated, and it was like a very dangerous situation.
Oh, yeah. Nearly
Because
died.
we were in the station, and they had to manually open the restraints.
It's crazy.
So it was like a near-death experience. It was very tragic.
Still, it was great.
Still though.
Yeah,
I don't know why you expected anything different on that ride.
it's true.
Yeah, I was just about to say the irony of getting on Smiler, getting in the first car, and already having to be manually removed from the coaster. That's
Yeah.
something.
I mean, Alton Towers even put out like an official statement that afternoon,
Yeah.
stating that it was nothing serious and it was standard procedure, which it really was. I mean, it was just.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I don't mean that. that
Actually,
breaks
that's
down.
Yeah,
not-
like
that's not
breaking
true.
down does seem like standard.
No,
procedure.
but it is
But-
every day, at least 5 times every day. Come on.
I personally don't think that's standard procedure. Standard procedure for anything to do with Merlin is like scraping dead bodies off the floor.
Yeah, it was. Probably...
Oh, yeah. Well, it was great to be on the first train, front row on the first train. One of the ride ops sat in the seat that Aaron was going to sit in, which was quite annoying, but still.
Yeah, the rat was down for probably a couple hours, but
I think it
we
was only an hour or so.
Yeah. Well, at least we moved on to Hex and Rita and 13. All pretty solid rides. 13 was a bit underwhelming. For some reason,
It's a
I
family
had quite
coaster,
high
though.
expectations for that. I don't know why. But the little drop part was fun.
Oh, very good.
And Rita was pretty good. I mean, people often bash it for its location in the park, which I can kind of see. But the ride itself isn't too bad. The operations were absolutely dreadful, though, which I don't really know why. Because
Oh, they weren't that bad. They were
terrible. The second time we went on that, it was absolutely terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't think it was terrible. It was. They were a bit slow. For the first time we went on it, it was fine. So I think I think they just had a mishap for the 5-10 minutes we queued for it, or 5 minutes we queued for it the second time. Still, yeah, Rita is a really good ride that people always slam. I don't know why. I slam it because it doesn't fit its area at all, which is fair enough. The
Yeah.
ride itself is pretty decent, but it just doesn't fit its area. Anyway, Hex.
Yeah, Hex. So Hex is definitely the best Madhouse I've been on. Before Philovolta was my first, but Hex just beats it. I mean, the entrance is in the actual hours themselves,
Yeah.
which
You're
is
not gonna beat that,
awesome.
Yeah.
And
Really is.
it has a couple pre-shows which are pretty okay. I mean, one big plus is that it's in English, and for some reason, every single park with a Madhouse just has a pre-show in their own in the language, just like their own language. And Hex having English was just a major positive thing.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I mean,
And I mean, the ride itself was just okay. There was like the room itself, it just had a big log in the middle, which made sense.
also there was
with the
meant
story.
there was meant to be some sort of like smoke that comes out of that little tree branch, but it didn't happen. So I know. Still though, it's a pretty good cycle with. I like it. It's really good. You get
So what about the sequence? Like, I've never seen it. Is it completely dark? What kind of effects does it have inside? And how's the music?
Oh,
I
the
think
music's great.
It's, I think the ride sequence itself, and the room itself is very similar to the one at Wallaby.
Mm-hmm.
So the Magic Castle.
Oh, right.
But the pre-shows are just much better.
And any pre-show is better than Merlin's castle. Like,
Yeah, that is-
seriously.
It's terrible. I don't
It's horrible.
like. Oh no! Every time I go in it, I just cringe, and
Like,
I
it's
can even
just
understand
laughable.
it.
It's
Like,
hilarious.
but yeah, Hex is really good.
Yes.
Um,
So the actual inside of the ride is basically just kind of themed to what the towers look like when you go inside. It's kind of that same aesthetic. Then you've got this branch in the middle, which is part of the storyline. That is kind of like hooked up to some cables and tubes because the guy's meant to be running tests on it.
Yeah.
And then it
I mean,
kind of lights
the
up.
itself is a little bit silly.
Yeah, to some degree,
But
I guess.
it works.
It does. And then you got a spooky tree that sits underneath the train. No, well, the car itself. So when
Oh,
the whole
right.
room rotates, you see this tree above. Well, it's not really a tree. It's like a face. This evil tree face thing.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I remember going when I was a kid and being scared of it. Makes sense though, really. It's all pitch black. Well, it's quite dark.
To be
in there.
honest, when I was a kid, I was scared of everything. I was scared of Rayman, and sure isn't scary. But yeah. I kind of get the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Solid ride there. I do enjoy the pre-show. It's because you've got two pre-shows, and then they batch you ready to go into the pre-show, and you get like a pre-show with the painting on the wall where they go, "This is the guy of blah blah blah." It's like a pre-show. It's not a fully fledged pre-show, but it's.
Did we even have the pre-show?
Yeah,
because
we did.
It was walk-on when we.
No, we did. We had it, because the guy,
Oh.
the painting lights up, and he goes, "This is the Duke of." I can't remember the guy's name, but yeah, we did. It's easy to miss though, because obviously it's pre-show. So.
Wait, so what is actually the story behind the ride? Because I've never seen it.
Go on, Aaron. I'll let you explain this.
Oh, I don't even know if I can like
Remember.
correctly recall it, but it's about this landlord-ish guy, and for some reason he gets cursed. I don't know why exactly.
Man, you're butchering this story.
This is the story
But
of
like-
every single madhouse ever.
You're
But he gets
butchering it.
cursed, and there's like this. The curse is about this big tree, and every time a branch falls off, one of his relatives dies.
Oh, that's some
So
spooky shit.
He
Yeah.
doesn't believe it,
Oh,
and that,
sorry, PG-13.
Family
That's
channel.
That's some
So,
spooky stuff right there.
he didn't believe the curse.
That's spooky as heck.
Until like 2 branches fall off and 2 people actually
No,
die.
one.
So
Lightning
one,
happens.
isn't it
Yeah,
2?
no. Lightning happens that night, the very same night that he got cursed. The branch falls off. One of his family members dies, and then go on, carry on.
Yeah, so he wants to prevent that from happening again, and so he just chains up all the branches,
Hmm.
and that's kind of I think the end
Phrase.
as well.
Kind of.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the chained oak itself is actually a real thing. You can go and see this tree that has chains going around it, which was obviously there before the theme park. It's kind of the legend. But yeah, it goes on to say that the owner of the towers, he took this branch back to the towers to try and run some tests on it to try and understand how the curse works and to get rid of it. And then he goes crazy, obviously, and you basically go into his secret vault where he kept this branch, which is the ride system itself, and then you enter this thing and it starts spinning, obviously.
It's pretty cool, actually.
But to be fair, the transition between the actual towers and the ride is, I think, quite seamless.
Yeah, it's very well done.
Yeah.
Because the
But
ride
also, I
system
like-
itself is in a warehouse behind the towers, because obviously they weren't allowed to build a huge attraction inside of the towers. But the
But also,
transition
like,
is very well done.
Thematically linked with the building itself. Like, it's actually using local folklore.
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
Really nice if theme parks actually do that.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Solid. So carry on. Nemesis.
Yeah, so after that we went on Nemesis, which is a very good invert. I mean, I preferred it over Black Mamba, and the first time I went on it, I even preferred it over the Smiler, but that was mostly because the first ride on the Smiler wasn't really that great for some reason. I mean, maybe we got like a bad ride on it, or just the worst train.
I think it was just early in the day.
Nemi was a walk-on as expected.
Yeah.
But
Wait,
I
how
mean,
is
it's
that
just
as
a solid.
expected?
It's always a
I mean,
walk-on.
Nemi never has a queue.
No.
Hey,
Because it's the oldest. Oh, it's the oldest coaster there now.
But,
but
honestly,
it's also very
if you
well
go
known.
to,
It's one of the best in the world.
Yeah, but everyone who's been to the park's already done it. That's the thing.
but still, if you go to Phantasialand, Black Mamba has, like, never has a queue.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It's probably the throughput, even though they only ran one train.
Well, yeah,
They ran a second one empty, which was really strange.
yeah. It
They
was.
had a second train running without any people on it for like pretty much the whole day. I
Yeah, I
think.
think it was. So on one train it had no queue, and then obviously when it's like the weekend they run two trains, and
Yeah.
it still has no queue. So the only ever time it gets queues are like peak days such as Saturdays on Scarefests and maybe the fireworks days. But then
And front row always has like a 10-15
Yeah,
minute
yeah.
queue, but the other rows are always a walk on or like a 5-minute max
it's true.
wait.
Yeah.
Um,
Galactica as well. We didn't do it in that order,
Yeah.
but
I mean, we did Galactica at the end of the day,
yeah.
and it had like a like a 40-minute
Yeah.
queue the first time we went on it, which was pretty unexpected even. But that was because it was down for like, well, at least a part of the afternoon. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, it was
how
down
long.
for a bit.
But we got on that first ride without any VR, and the second ride with VR. And I wasn't. I mean, I kind of liked the VR, even though my headset was kind of acting up. But I think I even preferred it with VR, just because it was just such a different experience from a usual roller coaster ride. And I specifically like the part where you're laying on your back, just a little drop.
Yeah, the fly to lie and the whole back on your back section is by far the best bit, I think.
Yeah.
You do get some quite decent force on that as well during that section.
Mhm.
So
And yeah, we went on the mine train as well.
It's fun.
So choo-choo.
rapids twice because that was
On
dead.
the rapids twice.
Yeah.
And that's about it, I think.
Yeah. So you did prefer the Smiler in the end.
Wait,
over
what
everything.
about 13?
Yeah, he did say 30. He said it was.
Yeah. We very swiftly covered 13.
Oh, wow. Okay, I guess I blew it out.
It is a great family attraction. That's the thing. It's not gonna throw you, completely. But for family, as a family attraction stands, it's a very very good one.
Yeah.
If it wasn't trimmed to hell, it'd be decent.
Yeah, the trims are so unnecessary.
Well,
Like, it barely even makes it.
You'd get some cheeky airtime if it wasn't trimmed. Well, you
Yeah.
get pretty good airtime.
Like, how is airtime family unfriendly? Like,
Oh, I don't know.
You might
I mean,
fly
it
out
would-
of your
it
you might
wouldn't
fly
get
out of your
great.
car. Just think of the little
Oh,
children.
true.
Sometimes they'll like fly up, and that lap bar is way too flimsy. That's
Yeah,
not gonna
yeah,
hold
but
you
that-
out. I swear, I rode a couple wooden coasters. I almost flew out. I'm never riding a wooden coaster again.
Nearly
but
died.
still, that's
not
why they have
safe.
seatbelts, because that makes them safe.
Oh,
13 didn't
Yeah,
have a
but-
seatbelt.
there you go.
No.
It doesn't even have a seatbelt. It doesn't even have a seatbelt.
Can't believe it. Why did we even go on it? We could have died.
I don't know.
It's called 13 for a reason.
It's true.
We should do the park.
Yeah, we should. Anyway, yeah, we got really lucky with our visit to Towers.
Yeah.
Getting on the Smiler front row was a really, really good highlight for me.
Mm-hmm.
The first car of the day, even. So that was great.
Even though the two rides later on were much better, in my opinion.
Yeah, they were.
But yeah, Smiler in the end still took the crown as the best ride at the park, and probably the best ride of the trip.
You think?
think-
Over the Swarm?
I mean, the storm is just so short,
Yeah, it really
and I
is.
didn't get to experience the left side.
Oh, it's no better.
So, yeah, I mean, it's just I only got to ride the Swarm twice and the Smiler 3 times, so it's just kind of difficult to compare them.
Yeah. It's a real shame because if it was running two trains, it would have been absolutely fine. So
Yeah.
it's very frustrating actually.
Yeah. So the second day we went to Thor Park, and as Harry said, it was quite a busy day at Thorpe. I mean,
Well,
probably not like too bad.
On Thorpe standard, that's pretty dead. Really.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, but the Swarm was only running one train, even though the queue was like 50 minutes,
yeah, 40.
which we thought was pretty bad.
definitely bad.
But we got a first ride, front row on Colossus, which was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Cool. And I actually really enjoyed Colossus.
So did I.
I don't know why everybody thinks
it's because
it's such a bad ride.
any row except for the front is bad. That's why.
Honestly, I didn't feel any headbang.
It's 'cause it's the
Like,
front.
maybe.
That's why.
Yeah, but we only rode it once, guys.
Exactly.
So I only know the front row. But there was only like one section with a bit of headbanging, but I really enjoyed it.
So you want to talk about bad operations? That was bad operations. That was ridiculous
Yeah,
operations.
Cloth was pretty bad. Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah.
What was it? Like, what was wrong with it?
Just very slow.
Yeah, they didn't
Like-
care. They just like didn't have to release the
Very-
things as well. Oh, that was
Every staff member was very inexperienced.
Yeah.
You could tell that in like a second. It was just, and we even were on the first train of the day. Like you would expect them to have like a little motivation still, but it was just all gone. They were just dead inside. It was
They were.
yeah.
Interesting question in the chat. Which is the worst park you've ever been to, guys?
Oh.
Worst part.
That's
Probably Slagharen before
Yeah, but
they.
they've got Gold Rush now.
Yeah, but I didn't go there when they had Gold Rush.
Yeah, that doesn't count. I think it has to be the worst park right now. Like,
What would you say? Because I feel like I'm forgetting about one.
probably Kernwasser Wonderland.
Okay, I've never been there.
you always get these tiny theme parks though, don't you? That's the thing. It's very difficult to say which is the worst because you
Yeah.
can just choose this tiny theme park that has one
Yeah.
ride.
Some of
Yeah.
them you would say wouldn't really count.
Exactly. In the middle of nowhere. It's you really just talking about the big parks. What's the worst of the big ones?
I think
Ooh.
maybe I think either Slagharen or Duinrel.
For me, I think it would be Bobbejaanland actually, because it's a park that has a bit more prestige than both, but just everything about that park was slightly disappointing.
Yeah.
And the weirdest thing is, it was crazy popular in Belgium as well, and all these Belgian people would be very impressed. And it would be terrible, like waiting times everywhere and slightly
Really?
dilapidated park. I mean, I hope they're gonna invest a bit more and stuff again, but for me, it was kind of childhood dreams and nostalgia, but it was a lot less good than it
Yeah.
should have.
I was actually really impressed with Bobbejaanland when I first went there. I actually preferred it over Wallaby back then.
How long was
is-
that ago?
Like I don't know. I was probably like 10 or 11.
See, that's the thing. From what I've heard a lot, it's like it's been getting worse every year.
Yeah, true, because they haven't added anything, but they're not investing in maintenance either, so they're just kind of ruining the park.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess Bobbejaanland is a pretty bad park as well, but it still has.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a terrible park, and it's sure it's a fun day, but it feels like for me it's a bad park because it feels like a lot of wasted potential. They've got so many things that could be so great, and they're all just slightly off.
Yeah, they just haven't invested in anything over the years.
Mm-hmm.
They've just
And
given-
there would be like empty parts of the park, like the former kiddie area, which was full and bustling with life, was now just an empty hole that you could walk in and there was nobody there, and
Mhm.
it just feels.
I know
awkward as hell.
exactly which hall you're talking about.
Yeah.
The
And that
one,
was just,
the one
oh
near,
man,
near
that was my
Okidoki,
childhood
right?
ruined. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no. It was just every time I went there, it was absolutely dead. Like just walk on for each ride, and it hasn't gotten any better since then. So yeah, I guess Bobbejaanland is probably one of the worst.
Saying that, Oakwood, some areas of Oakwood looks quite run down. They've got the whole new kids area, it looks really good, really fresh and well themed. And then you just step outside of that, and it looks really run down, really tired. They're getting a new coaster, which is a Pinfari. You know, it's not. It just seems like it's really in a really bad state at the moment, both financially and aesthetically. Which isn't good because obviously it's got Megaphobia, which is a really, really great ride, and Speed and No Limits as well. But it just needs some sprucing up.
Yeah.
So, what about your visit to other parks then? So you went to Movie Park Germany.
Yeah. So well, let's go in order.
Okay.
So the first day I visited Toverland for the first time ever. I had never been there, which is kinda odd now that I think of it. But we went there and it was like absolutely dead. Like we went there, or we got in the park first, and there were only like 10 people waiting to get in at 10. And we went to Dwervelwind first, and we talked to the ride op because after 3 rides, there was still no one even in the Magische Vallei area.
That's so amazing.
Oh wow.
So we talked to the ride op, and he said, "Yeah, you guys picked the right day because we're only expecting about 1,000 people."
Wow.
Like what? How?
It's crazy.
So it was basically just doing a marathon of each ride every time.
Yeah, pretty much.
so
We did.
It's great.
We left the park at like 3 because we had just done everything and we had to drive to Germany. So we were like, let's just go and have a like a nice sleep because we've just done everything here. We had 11 rides on Troy, 8 of which were back to back. Like
Wow.
we could literally stay seated 8 times. So it was just great.
Yeah, it's
And
ridiculous.
another really awesome thing was that a booster bike was actually closed when the park opened, and we spoke to the same ride op at Dwervelwind, and he was like, "Yeah, it's been down for a week, so don't get your hopes up." But they actually fixed it that day, so we still got like 3 rides on that, and yeah, it was a really good day. It was a completely empty park. So we were done there quite early on. But Troy is definitely a very good ride. I'd say it's second in the Netherlands. I still prefer Goliath. But it's definitely very solid.
So bad. I've never been there, but
Yeah.
life goal is to go to Toverland. I've been telling everybody I know to go to Toverland, but instead everybody just wants to go to the Efteling and Walibi, and they think I'm stupid.
But next year though.
I mean,
Yes,
it's
someday.
just their name. Everybody still thinks
Yeah,
it's a
everybody's
kiddie
still
park
thinking those
because
halls, the
everybody
kiddie
grew
halls.
up with Toverland being this indoor playground. While over the years they've been expanding, but they haven't been advertising that much. So everybody still, when they think of Toverland, they think of like maybe a park for like 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds, maybe. So
Yeah.
that they really have to work on their image. And probably like a year ago, they even had like a moment where they were really thinking about a name change. They didn't go for it in the end.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think next year when they open the wing ride, the wing coaster, and the new entrance, they're probably gonna go full out on advertising.
Mhm.
At least they should. They should, in my opinion.
I think so too. Yeah.
Because Overland is pretty much the hidden gem of parks in the Netherlands.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah.
In general, it's a hidden gem in Europe. I think, from what it seems like it's just
Yeah,
with that,
I mean-
that GCI alone.
Yeah. Solid.
Combined with
Yeah,
how-
the
how
hidden
well
gem
done it
used to be Phantasialand, but that's getting popular now. Now that Klukheim has opened,
Yeah.
so Toverland's definitely getting up there now. But yeah, on the second day we went to Movie Park Germany, which was pretty cool. I mean, we were really scared that Operation Enterprise wasn't gonna open. We went to the queue straight away, and the queue line was closed. We were like 8th in queue, or 8th in line, and the guy standing there, the ride op, just said like, "We don't know if it's gonna open today, guys. It could either be 5 minutes or it could be a couple days." So we were like, "Oh no, please don't let this happen," because honestly, if you go to movie park, Star Trek is kind of the only reason, because kind of like Bobby Island, everything else is just not quality. I mean, they have quite a lot of rides, but everything is just not very high quality, which is sad. But Star Trek was really good because it did open that afternoon, and it was really good. Back row is definitely the best because you actually get the full 180 turn with the backwards launch, and there was some surprising airtime in that thing. So that was definitely by far the best ride at the park.
Solid addition.
Yeah, and
Sorry if I bump in for a second, but how is the rest of the park? Because I've heard it's also pretty run down and empty.
It was pretty empty. I mean, the path running through the park are very wide, and because the park doesn't pull like too many visitors, it looks very empty very quickly. And the Nickelodeon part, it looks nice at some places, but like, for example, the backdrop of the SpongeBob coaster looks very, very worn out. And I really don't like how when you turn left after the main street, you've got this big warehouse in which Van Helsing is. I think the position of that coaster is very bad. I mean, the theming inside is very well done, but it just really ruins the atmosphere when you enter the park. And the thing with the other area, so kind of like the Wild West and the pier, it's just all a bit too small. Like, the thing is, most areas there only have like 2 or 3 rides, and it's just impossible to really immerse into the park.
Yeah, also I feel like it's just one big field of asphalt everywhere. Like there's not lots of trees and everything, it's just open.
It is very open. I mean, the main street does look pretty cool. It has some trees here and there, but the rest is just a lot of asphalt or paths. And it's just, Star Trek is this futuristic themed area, while the area is only like a little part of a path leading to the pier. And then when you exit the pier, which is like only a little bit, or only it's very wide, so you go through it very quickly, and then you just enter the Wild West out of nowhere, with a very, very out of place MP Express in the corner. So it's just not very well done.
How is Bandit, by the way? Because
Bandit
it's the worst wooden coaster in the world.
The first ride was actually like pretty good. Like, I was like, this is better than Robin Hood.
No way!
I swear, man. But the second ride was absolutely terrible. Like, unbearable.
Wow.
The thing is, I've always been saying that I really like Robin Hood, and I'm not even kidding. I like Robin Hood, and everybody hates it and says it's the worst, most rough Woody ever, but I'm not sure how I'd respond to Bandit, but at least if I know how it compares to Robin Hood, I figured it could be terrible or decent, but it sounds like it's still kind of an case.
I mean, honestly, I'm not like a huge hater on Robin Hood either. I mean, the thing is with those Vekoma Woodies, that you either have a pretty decent ride or it's absolutely terrible. And I don't feel like it even has to do with your seat too much, because on Bandit we have the exact same row, both of the rides, even though the first one was like pretty good and the second one was absolutely terrible. So it's just kind of you just kind of have to be lucky, maybe even, or just get the right train. Maybe it has to do with that.
Maybe the way you sit as well has some decent effects.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I feel like as long as you're sitting comfortably, like all of the jots and everything in the track don't hurt as much. But if you're bouncing against, I don't know, random thing.
Yeah. And MP Express was like, I was very impressed. Like,
what?
I know, but that's because I've only ever been on El Condor, which, for the people who don't know, is the first ever SLC. So imagine that cat banging. But MP Express, because I've only been on the first ever, it couldn't be much worse, and it was actually pretty decent. Like
Oh.
the hat banging, I mean the serpent roll was, but the rest of the ride was pretty okay. Like I actually enjoyed it more than I was worried of pain, which
Right.
is decent, I guess.
Dude, that is one metric for a Vekoma SLC. I was
Yeah.
still slightly enjoying it more than I was worrying about the pain, so it was okay.
I know.
Thing is though, does it have the bonus helix? I think not.
Nope.
Was
nope,
that-
No.
Oh, this can't be a good one then, can it? You know.
I mean, it's just, again, I don't know why they ever chose the location for that thing, but it does not have a theme. Like, it's a neutral attraction right next to the Wild West, which is kind of weird.
And what does MP stand for? Oh, movie
I have-
park. Wow, I just realized it myself.
Yeah, I just realized that as well.
That's fine. That was some quality detective work.
Mm. That is also one thing. I feel like for a park that's called movie park, it doesn't focus on movies.
Well,
Like,
that's you know that they used to be part of Warner, was it?
Yeah.
Like they
used
had
to
all the
be.
trademarks, and then they lost it, and they turned into a shitty.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fun park to go to just for Star Trek. And
Yeah.
I'd say it's even worth a visit because of Star Trek, especially if you've never been to the park. But it's not like a park where you would say like, oh, let's go each year. Like I wouldn't go back next year. Maybe like when they open another quality ride.
Yeah.
Definitely not before that. So yeah. And the third day we went to Phantasialand, which was just as amazing as always, even though the weather was absolutely terrible. Like I had my poncho on for at least half of the time we spent in the park. And on top of that we went on River's never a good idea. Don't ever go on that ride. It's just
I love the rapids though.
if you've ever thought that a certain rapids was wet, wait until you've
Yeah,
been on
well,
River Quest.
I've seen some
It
videos.
should be illegal. It's just like
Yeah.
the drops on that is just, I don't know how they came up with it, but you really, really, really need the dryers for which you have to pay near the exit.
How
like,
much
they're-
are they?
Probably like €2. I don't
Yeah.
know. We didn't use it. I mean, it was pouring anyway, so we were like, we're getting wet anyways. But yeah, it was just really good. Yeah, that's about it, I think. Going to Port Ventura next week, so that's something.
Aaron's
Wow.
going all out on theme park trips.
This year is crazy for me.
Yeah.
See, I'm hoping to make that my year as well, but my planning never happens.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you do it? Like, what are you going to Ventura with? Is it just regular vacation?
Well, I'm going with, I'm going on vacation to Barcelona with 5 friends.
Oh.
And one of those days we're just gonna visit Port Ventura.
Mm-hmm.
And the other 2 trips, well, obviously the one to the UK was me visiting Harry,
Hello.
and the other one was just a friend and I going on a little road trip to Germany.
All right.
So nothing too special.
Just stuff you pick up along the way.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good.
But what parks have you done this year?
Nothing.
Really?
You haven't been to any?
Well, nothing that would count. Not yet. I mean, I haven't really had time yet. I've
So
been
what are like the
busy
proper
so far.
plans then?
Okay, it's a bad list. It's a bad list. I still need to go to the UK, and that should be happening sometime this summer. So we'll see what I can pick up there. I really, really, really want to go to some German parks. Of course, I'm going to the Efteling. I might be going to Walibi as well, but you know, Efteling and Walibi is just sort of standard procedure. Sort of making some plans to go to Toverland because I've never been on Troy, and I've never been on Zwervelwind, and I really need to. That's high on my bucket list. That's basically the stuff. Also, I'm gonna be studying in Japan next year, so
Really?
Wow.
Japanese Disneyland and stuff is definitely on the
That
plan.
is awesome, man.
Actually, I
Very
am looking forward to riding a Togo coaster there. Like
Stretch, yeah.
legit.
Dude, what are you
There's a
gonna
Togo
study there?
coaster. What? Sorry?
Wait,
I'm
you,
gonna-
you were gonna study there next year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you gonna do?
Uh,
And
Uh,
where?
general studying at a university in Tokyo. So location-wise, it's for theme park trips. You know, even if it's just kind of a side thing, because I'm gonna study in Japan. It's still a really awesome location. You've got Tokyo Disney Sea, Tokyo Disneyland regular, Yorimuri Land, which has a Togo coaster that I would love to ride. It's called Bandit. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh, actually, maybe,
Togo
yeah.
coaster, and it looks really smooth. Like seriously, it's a smooth coaster, and it looks to have some amazing airtime on it. It's basically a Togo hyper coaster or mega coaster. I'm not sure which of the two. That is like
Yeah, I've
it
seen
flows over a forest. It's like a terrain hyper coaster, and it's built by Togo, and somehow it's good.
It
So
looks
that's kind of a
decent.
must-buy. Yeah, and of course we've got Thunder Dolphin as well, Tokyo. I'm already making plans with somebody to go there, so that's good. At least that's
Awesome.
gonna happen.
Any
Where you've
plans
got
for Fuji Q Highland?
Not really. I would love to go there though, especially with. I mean, you've seen this, of course. They're Donpa getting a loop, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that would be interesting.
Well, yeah, but not only that, you still
If-
got
if-
Even
years,
if I
so
already
just a
started
couple
planning that,
months.
I would already be kind of pooping my pants right now, just with the foresight of going on Donpa, because that thing looks legitimately super scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you were never like a huge coaster geek, but I
Yeah.
believe you've been kind of picking up lately, haven't you?
Yeah. I'm still a scenery person, so still my favorite ride, like in general, is the Flying Dutchman. Which I know people are gonna pick me off for this, but I just love how immersive and themed that ride is. But still,
I can see that. I mean, the queue is more enjoyable than the ride itself. That's something I always say, which is not necessarily
think
like
it-
a good thing.
the dark ride part is really good though. At least that's my
Nah.
thought. Like it's different. Okay, I guess opinions kind of differ. But yeah,
But yeah,
it's-
I can see why.
I have been catching up, yeah, and I would like to ride as much as I can, but I have a lot of catching up to do.
Mm-hmm. But which parks are like on your top of the bucket list for Germany and the UK?
Right, Alton Towers probably topping out the bucket list for England. Though, to be honest, it's probably going to be easier to do Thorpe Park. That's
Yeah,
the thing.
it really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alton Tower is like in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
And
Yeah, it really. Yeah.
Aaron,
it's
Just-
not all
we-
that
we-
handy.
I mean, we got there by train. We got to, what was it?
you Toxeter.
Yeah, Uttoxeter by train, and then we took a cab to the park,
Whoa,
and
it's
it was
expensive.
Yeah,
it wasn't too bad, but the ride there was absolutely crazy. Like there are coaches that have to like take that route, and I don't think that's even possible. Like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just
Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere.
So to get to Alton Towers, you actually have to go through this small little village of Alton, and there's this one incredibly tight bend because the villagers park their cars on this street, so it's like like a little slither to go through, and you have to get a big old coach through this little gap and through this quite a steep bend as well. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it really is.
That sounds like England. Okay.
Yeah, well, it's true.
But I mean, you could maybe do what I did, just fly there and fly on Birmingham, and then take public transport to London and fly back from Gatwick. That's what I did.
That sounds a bit overcomplicated, but yeah, okay, it kind of worked for the route that you were taking, though. That's true. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure that out, but I'm probably gonna figure that out when I'm a little bit less busy.
Yeah. And what about Germany? Probably Phantasialand and Europa Park.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Though Europa Park is kind of difficult.
Yeah,
I
Europa Park's so out of the
talked about it
way.
with people, but it's so far away.
Mhm.
Though the same kind of goes for Holiday Park. I would love to go to Holiday Park as well, and if I do, then Europa Park wouldn't be too much of a stretch either. Yeah, those two
Yeah.
are high on my bucket list. I would love to go to Tripsdrill one day, but that one's just even more difficult.
That's another hidden
Yeah,
gem though.
Tripsdrill. I
Like,
really
not
want to get. I really want to
theming-wise?
get there.
Not theming wise, but the rides just look so fun.
They really did.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, theming wise as well. I mean, I don't know. It's not Disney, but it's very charming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It's local
very
architecture.
picturesque.
It's all very nice, very sort of laid back, mellow theming.
and I'd love to go to Heidi Park as well.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I'd like Colossus to be open,
Yes, it needs to be.
but yeah.
Like it's European outdoor. Can't just be closed like that. Yeah. Also, there's Hansa Park as well, which would be really cool. I think that's also
Yes.
kind of a hidden gem.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Get to ride 2 good guests there. Ho ho.
Oh,
I love it.
that's like Harry's ideal park. Just
full of
a
ghosts,
park
man.
full
Yeah,
of
I was about
quality
to say,
ghosts.
like, somebody saying that there's some ghosts in a park could mean 2 very different things. Like, either they hate it or
Oh,
they
that's great.
love it. Like,
That's
there's
great.
no in between with Gerstlauer.
That's rude.
I think it's fair to say that Harry is Ghost's biggest fan.
One of. Gotta stick for the underdogs, man. Max overrated.
True.
Harry's
Easy.
perfect
true.
park is just like 50 of the same ride.
No, you don't need. Look,
50 Smiler Clowns.
Infinity Coasters are so versatile that you could make every ride different. If you had 5 of them, you could make each one different. I bet you could.
I bet you could make an infinite amount of them and make them all different.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So that's why I just like Ghosts, man. They're good rides.
But I mean, they're very dangerous. Did you
It's
know that?
true, they are dangerous. I have to admit. I mean, saw the ride. There's some dead body when you go on that Heartline roll.
I know.
It's
And it even
crazy.
squirts water, which is interesting.
I love that sound where the guy's just like goes "Ugh," like that, and just squirts up. It's like, oh no, okay.
Wait, that is a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a thing.
So
Wow.
the Heartline
That's
roll
right,
at the
right
very end.
after the ear
Yeah.
rape. That is the
Oh
crossbow
my God.
section. Oh no.
So just before the lift hill, you get this slow Heartline roll, and it goes over this dead body with like a hole in his chest, and then water squirts up as you're upside down.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a nice place to be.
Oh, it's a good ride, man. I love it.
The
That
queue
looks
line
alright.
was very underwhelming. I expected a lot more.
I don't know why.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
but I did.
No one told you should expect a
I
lot.
know, but I just expected a lot more.
Nah, it's alright.
It was the ideal ride to give like a very, 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 very cool indoor queue line.
Yeah, I guess. But saying that, all of that area was filled in, so you know.
hmm
Yeah. Well, you think it's time to move away from trip reports? I've been on for 50 minutes.
Well, I have one little
Oh, go on
news
then.
thing actually.
News.
I don't know.
Wait,
if
wait,
you
news.
Knew this,
News.
But I just read that Paramount has pulled out of the deal for the Mega Park.
Really?
They did.
Ooh.
Wait
They
there.
did.
I see
Link?
it.
Where?
On loopings.
Oh.
Well, it's Dutch, so
I'll translate it. Send me a
Oh.
link.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess I can sort of try to translate it, but they're basically just saying they're pulling out of the big attraction park in London. Paramount Pictures doesn't want to work with developing the gigantic theme park in Great Britain. There have been plans for a couple of years to do it with all
yeah.
kinds of movies from Paramount. Okay, it's basically loopings.
Yeah.
They're regurgitating everything that was already known.
I see it on the Towers Times and South Parks forum. Yeah. Oh. I have to give it a read after. Anyway, that's interesting.
That's a shame.
I think we're in a stronger position than we were before, though. So, I really hope it does become a thing. I mean, it'd be great for the UK.
True.
It'd be very great for the UK.
And theme parks, or like movie studio parks in general, because now it's just kind of Universal versus Disney.
Yeah,
Ooh. And it's great to have some more competition in there.
definitely. Wow, that's very interesting. Wow. Okay. I'll have to read about that afterwards. Anyway, let's finally travel into the general discussion and answer some questions. I'm sure a lot of you have some questions for maybe Aaron from his trip, or maybe Sylv, and ask him how he makes such good coasters on Planet Coaster.
On you.
It's pretty crazy though.
It is.
Like,
It is. Does Silver Star have airtime? Yes.
I
Simple.
was very underwhelmed.
I wasn't. it
Was my
good.
first ever B&M. I just expected a lot more.
It was my first B&M Hyper, and I really enjoyed it.
Is it Europa Park markets it as a family ride?
It's yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like how Movie Park markets their teacups ride as a thrill ride. I don't know why.
I mean,
It's just
I
weird.
wouldn't be surprised if the forces on Silver Star are family ride forces.
In my opinion, they were. But Harry's not going
Well,
to
it's
agree.
airtime, isn't it?
Probably.
Airtime forces are a lot more casual than, like positive Gs. Negative Gs, you never hit those high ends. They're always like sub 2G usually, or sub negative 2G. So yeah, I guess if you make airtime machines, they can be family friendly. But there are some forceful elements of Silver Star. Like turnaround is decent, and you get some really hefty ejector coming off the mid course sometimes if you're on the back row.
Huh.
So yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's my third favorite coaster overall so far. So it's just something completely different that I've done.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one. What roller coaster should Europa Park add next?
Oh, we've talked about this, and I still don't know.
It's what do they need?
I mean,
Don't need a
the
multi.
thing that Europa Park does really well is just they have such a great variety in ride experiences.
Yeah.
And I think I think one option may be a flying coaster, but I can't see Mac actually like manufacturing a flying coaster themselves. So they'd have to go with another manufacturer again,
Well, they-
which I don't think they really want to do. I mean, they did for Woden, but
Yeah.
that's simply because they don't build Woodies,
I
and they
guess.
went for Silver Star. I don't know why. I mean, I guess back then they didn't build Mac Megas yet.
It's true.
But I guess maybe a flying coaster. But their lineup is just great.
It does need
Honestly.
some. I'd say it needs some more large-scale coasters.
Yeah, but the thing is, they've kind of. I mean, just the road leading up to the park
Oh yeah.
has ruined their possible expansion plans because they just don't have any way to expand to. I mean, you have the city on one side, then you have a whole section of hotels on the other side, and the rest of the park is just filled in by the road leading up to the park. So it's they kind of messed up on that part. But maybe they'll figure something out.
Yeah. And haven't they got a new water park coming as well? Like completely
Yeah,
off-site
But that's
down
like
the road.
yeah.
Here's a
I
good
don't know,
one
man.
for Blackpool fans. In the next 20 years, what can we expect from the big one at Blackpool Pleasure Beach? Retrack, new hyper, or still the same? Oh man, in 20 years' time, that coaster's going to be dead. I'd hope so anyway. But then, it's such an icon that, yeah, maybe they would just replace it with some sort of new hypercoaster. But knowing Blackpool, it'll take up like 20 years to build up enough money to do so. So it'd be a very interesting question, and I'm sure that the big one still has quite a little bit of time left in it. Probably gets to like 40 years old, maybe if Blackpool really want to keep it, which I imagine they do, being such the iconic coaster that it is. But that'll be a tough decision for them. It's just the same as like Nemesis Alton Towers. What are they going to do when that's finally dead? Because that's such a prestigious coaster here in the UK. people are going to be really upset if it goes, but at the same time, it has to go at some point, doesn't it? So
Just put an SLC in there.
it's true. Yeah, there are only a few second-hand ones, only a few mil, easy.
Yeah.
What if RMC's T-Rex track is actually an old plan to also start retracking steel coasters?
What with that track?
Yeah.
That'd be very interesting. I mean, you don't want to retrack the big one because the layout's crap, but
I mean, maybe they could, on the big one, they could maybe like add another station, because in the end it's a monorail, so
it's true.
maybe, like
yeah.
on the turnaround they can add a station.
Yeah, so people can go from one area of the park to the next.
Exactly.
That's a great idea. Let's do that. Yeah, make it a fully fledged monorail. Because now they're just like, it's a pseudo monorail, you know. It's trying to be a monorail, but it's not quite there. Official.
I mean, it still looks better than the monorail at AT. I mean, I don't know who designed the trains for that thing, but that is absolutely like.
It's really old
it
though.
hurt my eyes.
It's
I
old.
looked it up now.
Yeah, official really knows what he's saying. They're gonna replace Nemesis with a theatre. So, because there's certain people who think certain coasters at Alton Tower should be replaced with theatres.
Whoa, dude! The Alton Towers monorail is 100% the Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 monorail.
Is it?
Is it?
At least one older design was. Like, seriously.
Well, I don't think you're looking at the new one, because it's covered in like candy and stuff.
Yeah, I see the new one as well. But the old design, that was totally Roller Coaster
Oh,
Tycoon.
yeah, right.
Chris
It
Sawyer,
is.
good job.
Link, can I have a link to this? Because
Oh yeah,
it
sure,
sounds interesting.
Sure. Do you remember what the Roller Coaster Tycoon monorail looks like?
I'm sure I will when I see what you mean.
Okay, yeah. I'll post a picture. Can I post it in Discord chat?
Yeah, sure.
Discord or chat? Or
Wherever, just anywhere.
I'll spam it everywhere. No, I'll put it in Discord. There we go.
Oh, damn! Is that what the old ones used to look like?
Yeah, apparently.
Ah. Yeah, I mean the monorail is very old now.
Mm-hmm.
That thing can't last for a long amount of time.
Yeah, let's get a picture of that Roller Coaster Tycoon monorail. Like, if you see them side by side, they are very, very look-alike.
It's just red instead of blue.
Yeah, but you can recolor that, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Alright, that's the thing.
Interman says, "How is the big one a monorail? It has 2 rails on the track." That's it. We just need 2 trains that go around, 1 on each rail.
That's
Perfect.
Dude, no, that's why it needs to be an RMC retrack with the T-Rex.
Oh yeah, that would be it.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah, of
right.
course. There we go.
True.
Problem
It's all
solved.
figured out. It's a prophecy. By the way, yeah, Alton Towers did, or I mean, Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 did have a scenario of Alton Towers. It was quite nice. It was funny to see as well, because I think it was still with Corkscrew, and just like Oblivion and Nemesis was there, but no Ariat, no Smiler, no 13. It's kind of weird to see it now.
Hmm. Well, I mean, there's a lot of old coasters at Alton. I mean, ones that have been removed since, like Thunderlooper and Beast.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Anyway, more questions that aren't monorail related.
Favorite for Coma? No. How about no?
How about no?
Oh,
Favorite-
isn't that bad?
I think it'd be
I mean,
Ben 10.
It's crewed over Arrow like big time.
Isn't that what all the Americans like, the circle jerk? But in the end, it's kind of business and marketplaces.
I mean, it
more
is
complicated
business, but it
than
was kind of a
screwing
big
over
deal.
Arrow.
Yeah.
Well, then again, they've also been using Arrow's trains up until very recently, even though I think they only they only had a contract to keep using Arrow's trains for a few years or something, but they kept using them longer than they were forced to, and I think it's a slightly more complicated situation than just they screwed over Arrow.
Yeah, it probably is.
But yeah, it's a tragedy what happened anyway, but you know, out of that happening, we also got RMC, so I'm not entirely sure if that was a bad thing by Tacoma. I know, it's on the edge, but still.
It's edgy.
I'm very edgy.
Too
Also, my
edgy for
favorite
me.
Vekoma is. I don't actually have a favorite.
Mine would be whatever Ben 10's called now, which I've completely forgotten.
Really?
Well, yeah, because
Well-
they're smooth, man. They're good.
Like you've been on, you mean?
Yeah, I've been on.
I mean, I liked Rock and Roller Coaster, but that's
Oh,
more
I
for the theming.
forgot about
Oh,
that one.
true.
That's a good one. I agree.
Actually, my favorite would be Revolution in Bobby Island.
I really like Revolution, man.
Revolution is so awesome.
It's
Oh
just
my
like
God.
this laid-back ride. I love it.
Dude, the last.
It's by far the best ride of the park.
Harry, do you know Revolution? Like, it is the highlight of Bobby Island. It's
Maybe.
an indoor Vekoma coaster.
Is that the
and it
really
has-
long one?
Yeah, it has
Yeah.
a train of over
Revolution,
30 cars.
Yeah, I know.
So if you're in the last train and like the front car is already going way down the first drop, like you're getting shooting up the lift hill.
That's
I think
great.
it's-
And the lift hill is one very huge spiral.
I hate spiral
And like
lifters.
the train, you can just it's just. I
No, but this thing
love
is epic because it has
Revolution.
like 80s music and projections and lasers and.
But I mean, just the ride itself is just so fun as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's
And it
very
just keeps getting
underrated.
faster until it hits the end.
I know. It's a great ride.
And the cars are weird because you're set with one person a car. So
Yeah.
and you've got like
Oh.
this weird like lap bar that you pull out of the floor. It's
Mhm.
like it's a strange sensation. Yeah, that's awesome.
Be very interested to get on.
Yeah, it's kind of like a bobsled car-ish.
Yeah. And if you're with two people, one person has to sit on the lap of the other person, so that's
Oh.
very cute. You're into that stuff.
What, just like all the bobsled coasters?
Yeah.
It's very nice. um,
Sorry to leave it on a super awkward note.
it's alright. Big Thunder Mountain is also from Vekoma. You're forgetting it. Still
I
though,
mean, I did prefer Rock and Roller Coaster.
Same.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I can see that.
it's definitely a good ride. Probably second, but honestly, I thought Rock and Roller Coaster was more memorable than Big Thunder Mountain.
yeah. Oh man, I haven't been on Big Thunder Mountain for a while because when I went to DLP, it wasn't even open.
All right.
What isn't a good Vekoma coaster is.
You want the
flipping
whole list?
Space Mountain 2. Jesus. Before the new trains, that was. Oh,
Honestly, it wasn't that bad.
it was.
It was
Aaron,
not
listen
that
to me.
bad.
Listen to me. I don't find many rides bad, right? But that one, I won it 6 times. 5 out of 6 times was painful as hell. I only
mean-
sussed out how to ride it in the 5th time. I sussed out how to ride it, so my 6th ride would be smooth.
I mean, you
And it wasn't.
probably you either got very unlucky or I
Probably
got very lucky, but I didn't. I didn't think it was that bad.
It's just the seats are really tight, so my knees didn't have anywhere to go. It's so headbangy. You just can't absorb how good it is because it's so rough. It's a real shame because I imagine with the new trains it's really fantastic, but yeah,
I don't like the look of the new trains though.
well I'm sure they're better than the old ones.
Yeah, the old ones weren't like very good either.
Nope. Yeah.
Any other good questions? Oh, ochtend in Pretparkland. That's a very specifically Dutch question, but yeah, I actually listen to that podcast sometimes. It's really nice. Even if I just listen to their Belgian accents because I love Belgian Dutch. It's my guilty pleasure. Seriously.
I've listened to like 1 or 2 episodes.
How can you listen to 1 or 2 and not just instantly think I need more?
I don't know. I'm not too big on podcasts.
Okay, fair. Yeah, I do like podcasts because they're kind of something to keep me working while I'm shutting myself up in my room and playing Planet Coaster, which can be very hard.
Not he says as he creates the 17th podcast in a row on a tiny YouTube channel.
Yeah, but like this isn't really a podcast though.
It kind of is. Most people are probably listening to it instead of watching it, so...
The thing is, I don't have to listen to it and actually pay attention. Or like, it's not just listening and paying attention, it's actually being on it.
What, you're not listening to me? You're not paying attention to what I say?
I'm sorry, what was that?
like-
Can you repeat that, please? Haha. Go
No,
on,
but
Karen.
like, if I
No, I
ever
see what you
have
mean.
time to listen to a podcast, I'm probably like playing a game, and I just don't really. I don't know. I'm just not too big on podcasts.
Yeah, I only listen to
listening to
podcasts when
them.
I'm traveling. That's about it. Even then, I don't really listen to it. The only one I listen to is Hello Internet, and that's about it.
Ooh. Yeah, you do seem like a very hello internet person.
Yeah,
That is totally a compliment. Don't take it any other way.
man, they're great guys.
I like their voices a lot. I've never
So
really
do I.
listened to the podcast because I'm not interested in the subject material, but if they were talking about things that I genuinely find interesting,
Yeah,
I'd be addicted.
yeah. Still, I'm very far behind because I just don't listen to it outside of traveling. So depends how much traveling I do. What is your favorite part of the Ultimate?
Probably the lift hill because it's like 5 minutes.
Because it's
True.
the only part that doesn't hurt, probably.
Yeah, well, you say that.
I do. No. I like the airtime hills.
They're probably deadly. I bet you they're deadly. Official, how are the airtime hills? Are they
Alright.
deadly? Is Official still here? Because I know he's reading
It's probably the craziest ejector you've ever
it.
experienced.
Yeah,
Like, literally, ejector ejects you out of your seat.
yeah. Every
I
time.
know. It's probably better than Goliath's airtime hills.
It's gotta be.
Goliath's airtime hills are good, though.
They are amazing. Those are the best airtime hills I've ever experienced.
Not quite as good as the Stengel dive, that's still the highlights, but the airtime
Oh,
is
and I
nice as well.
really love the last turn as well.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a very good ride in general.
It doesn't slow down. Stays good.
What do you think about the new paint job?
I like it.
It's a shame. I preferred green and purple. But ever since green and black, it wasn't working out so well. So at least blue and black, I think, works out better than the green and black because the green was already kind of washed out, so it looked
Yeah.
weird.
The thing is, when they painted the supports black, they kind of had to redo the track as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have liked to see green because it's just a kind of. I mean, the purple and green was by far the best just because it's so unique.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, yeah, it's okay. It could have been worse.
Yeah, I don't
I
think
mean-
it looks bad.
I think the actual like fade of blue is like pretty well picked out of the possibility.
It's alright, yeah. And at least they didn't mess up like they did with Condor. Because I still cannot look at
It's
that.
a lot better than Condor's paint job. Yep.
Had a question about Zack spins. Have either of you two experienced a Zack spin before?
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah. They're really, really interesting rides. I mean, the only one that I've been on is Inferno at Terra Mythica, and man, that thing can be uncomfortable as hell. Some of the time when you go over the drops, you get fully thrown out of your seat, and especially if you start to rotate as well, it's even worse. They're really uncomfortable from what I've been on. Yeah, it's. I wouldn't ride it again. Like, I'd ride it once per visit. You know, it's not something that I'd ride again.
Mhm.
But I have heard that the one at Insane at Grunelund, or however you say that one,
Yeah.
is meant to be the best. So, and that does look pretty good.
Mm.
Still, I think S&S free spins will look better, just because the center of rotation is actually around the riders and not the seat assembly. So you don't get thrown into your seat. You kind of just rotate around it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Still, yeah.
Well, how do they kind of compare to the original 4D coasters?
Well, if you watch the video of 4D Roller Coaster Explained, you'll find out. But
Of course I've watched that, come on!
yeah, so the original ones by Arrow, and they're all very structured, so the rotation is obviously guided by the two extra rails on the outside. Whereas
Yeah. But I kind of wonder like what people generally prefer, like how it differs in terms of ride experience.
Well, I imagine it's just a lot less fixed going on the free spins. Imagine, well, obviously every ride's different to some degree based on how you're weighted. A quick side note: me and Aaron had the best ride. Well, the best ride I've ever had on a spinning coaster. That one time at Alton Towers.
Right.
Go on, I'll let you explain
that
it.
was great. So we went on Spinball Wizard, which usually has a queue like 30 minutes.
Yeah, 30, 40.
And we had like, we could just walk right on again. And the second of our 3 rides was absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
So we were on one side, and there was just like one guy behind us. So the weight distribution was very, very off, and that just gave an amazing ride. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah, best time I've ever been on a spinning coaster.
Though I still don't know why Alton ever thought it was a good idea to put that coaster there.
It doesn't fit.
So out of place. It's probably the only ride at Alton which is like really out of place.
Yeah, well, beside Rita, I guess. Well, Rita could be worse.
Yeah.
It just ruins the area, that's all. So it ruins the area, Rita does.
Harry wants a clear view of 13.
No, I just want a clear view of the Dark Forest. I actually want the Dark Forest to be
Sure.
open, not completely closed in and caged in.
So you'd relocate Rita somewhere else?
Yeah,
See,
or just get rid of it and put it in some sort of intermin multi-launch coaster like Taron. That's the best solution, really.
Because you can't theme it the same as 13.
Well, you theme it to a similar dark aspect, obviously. Just like the way Oblivion and the Smiler are kind of linked. You know, you do the same with that. You make a dark theme that fits towards 13's, but isn't the same. Yeah.
That's true. Like, it does kind of stick out.
I guess that they could have, like, the launch in the dark or something. I don't know.
Well, one of them, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I think it'd just be a lot better, especially with all the amount of space you have where 13 is. Instead of putting it all in the middle of the Dark Forest, you put the station in the middle, maybe have a few pieces of track that goes through, but nothing to the same scale as Rita, and have it all in the background, you know, where you actually get interaction with trees and maybe interaction with 13, rather than it just being by itself on top of the whole Dark Forest, which doesn't really make sense. So, yeah.
Any other good questions that we have around here?
Probably not. I think we should move on to the trivia. I know people really enjoy the trivia. You actually do, actually.
Euthris just said Senpai is here. I'm gonna have to run.
Okay.
No, actually, I'm not even kidding. I know that was the worst transition ever, but I'm actually gonna have to go.
It's alright.
It's getting pretty late.
Yeah.
I kind of want to go to bed.
Fair enough.
Please don't hate on me for going to bed at 10 a.m. I have to get up at 6 tomorrow, and I'm very sleep deprived. But yeah, it's been awesome. So thank you for having me here.
Yeah, thanks for joining on such an unexpected stream.
Yeah, that was weird. But
Was weird.
It's been awesome. And it's been something that was supposed to be happening for like over a year or something, I think. And then it just kind of happened out of the blue. I'm sorry, I really have to leave. So
thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks guys.
See you, man.
And good
See
night.
ya.
See you later. Bye everybody.
Okie doke. So, Coaster Trivia. Oh no, I just glitched out things. Coaster Trivia. Last time we had Zach, who was accused of cheating by making the stream run faster by putting it on ×2.
Right.
But that's allowed because anyone could do that. So if you want to do well in this and you want to be the first, a top tip is to put the stream into ×2 mode.
If you
Anywho,
ain't cheating, you ain't
I
trying.
can't believe it actually worked.
yes. Anywho, let's get trivia started. So we got 6
Hold
questions.
on, does that make it go into the future?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
So let's get started with the coaster trivia, and the first one is, what was the first Vekoma giant inverted boomerang? We're looking for the name and the location of the park, please. What was, and I guess where, was the first Vekoma giant inverted boomerang? There we go. Let's see. I don't know how lagging the stream is. Do any of you two know what it is?
Well,
Well, Aaron
now
does,
I do.
'cause he
Just looked it up.
Go on, Brendan, give us a guess. What's the first giant... Oh, well, there you go.
What?
Mika did it. Do you know what a giant inverted boomerang is?
No.
Yeah, they're pretty
Oh,
crazy.
Formula Rossa.
Anyway, Mika got it. So, GG to Mika. That was... it seems like a difficult question. There's not many people actually got that. Most were guessing Deja Vu at Six Flags Great Adventure.
Yeah, I think the most difficult part of the question was getting the right park.
Yeah.
I mean, Deja Vu wasn't too difficult to guess, but it's just like a matter of months.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, fair enough. Aaron, you want to do the next question?
Well, I don't have the questions, so that
Yeah, you
doesn't
do. They're
really-
shared.
Oh,
Oh, I didn't even
get the
share it, did
mail.
I?
I didn't get.
I didn't even
mail.
share it. Oh no, that was
You just
rude.
do it. It's fine.
No, it's good.
Ah.
I think that's the right one. I'll have a look right there. Okay, try that. So yeah, well done. That was a very difficult question. There are some more easier ones in there. We kind of stepped it up a notch since last time, as many of the last questions were quite easy to do, and many of you got the answers right. So this time we are putting in some more difficult questions for the viewers. You're live? You in?
Yep, I'm opening the dock.
Cool.
Alright, I got it. So, next question is, what was Mac's first spinning coaster?
Oh, that's the easy one.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy one. Have to give a bit of time to the chat.
A smiler.
Oh,
Definitely.
Brendan, well done.
Great guess.
Right. Oh, you too
I'm
slow.
gonna just spoil it for.
No, there you go. 8-bit got it. Everyone knows this one. Well done, 8-bit. Euromir. Pandemonium. Euromir. Euromir it is. Well done. Easy question. Everyone got that one.
Mm-hmm.
So, stepping it up a notch again. I don't know if many people would know this. What was B&M's first stand-up coaster? We're looking for the name here. What was B&M's first stand-up coaster?
I know what it was. It was painful, probably.
Yeah, well. There we go. We'll see how many people do well in this one. Euromir was... Yeah, that's it. Euromir was B&M's first stand-up coaster.
We got
Apocalypse,
it.
Iron Wolf, yeah. Dr. D, what? Well done. You did well. Wow, okay. We're getting a
Wait,
variety.
does Iron Wolf not count then?
No, Iron Wolf was
Or-
its previous name. It's now Apocalypse, it was Iron Wolf.
Yeah, but, I mean, didn't Patrick kind of get it? Or did you want the park as well?
No. Patrick... Oh, where did... Oh, I didn't even see. Sorry, Patrick. Yeah, you got it. Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't see Patrick's. Well done, Patrick. Sorry, Dr. D-Watt. You got outgunned. Slightly. Alright, Aaron?
Right, next question is, how many trains are able to operate on California Screamin' at Disney California Adventure Park?
Oh, man.
So how many trains can run on that ride at one time?
The maximum number. Well, knowing...
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, well, knowing it's a Disney park, it has to be quite big.
Mm-hmm.
3, 5, 4, 4. Cyclops. 6, 5, 3, 4, 3, 6. So Patrick again with 6 trains. Bingo. He's got it.
Bingo, bango, bongo.
Exactly. 8. We're getting Zach's just posting all of them, every last number. Anyway, well done, Patrick. 10 out of 10. That was a bit more difficult. Didn't see that many people knew that one. Back to another easy question. What was the first Mack rides coaster with an inversion? Go on, Brendan. Have a guess.
Or not.
Or don't. That's fine.
I mean,
go.
Harry loves it, so.
Whoa. Where? What's happening?
Well, it's a bit too late now.
No, I'm not looking at.
What was the first Mack coaster with an inversion?
I only know one Mack coaster.
Go on then.
Helix, right?
It wasn't the first, but it is one.
Okay, Blue Fire.
Blue Fire it
There
is.
we go.
There
Do you
go.
think, well done, you got it right. It was Blue Fire.
Your favourite coaster? Harry says Blue Fire is very underrated.
Oh, it is definitely. And the final question, take it away, Aaron.
Launch was a bit.
The final question is quite difficult, and it is what was B&M's 100th coaster?
Ooh.
Ooh.
Go on, Brendan, have a guess. Take that as a no. No more guessing. What was B&M's 100th coaster? Jeez,
Difficult one.
Patrick's on the
Ooh, he's on
ball.
fire.
He is on Silver Star. Why
Nah.
Silver Star? The Big BM from Ronan. That's a good one. Love the Big BM. But yeah, it was Valraven with Patrick taking 3 of the 6 points. Wow, impressive. So today's quiz winner is obviously Patrick for being such a great guy. So well done, Patrick. You done did it. You done did it. Anyway, I think it's time to call this an end to the stream. It's been a very great stream, very weird stream having Silvarret on for an impromptu guest on the stream. It wasn't planned at all. It would have been better if we did plan it, but hey ho, that's fine. At least he's come on. We can always get him back on in the future. We will have more guests soon. We are currently in the process of planning dates to do more streams with other people. So there will be more coming in the future. If you'd like to see some guests, be sure to leave a comment now, I guess, as to what kind of guests you'd like to see, or who you'd like to see. Other than that, thank you all for watching. It's been a good one. You want to say anything, guys?
Bye bye, guys. We'll see you next time.
Is Brendan alive?
Brendan left the stream room already.
Alright. Bye,
And
everyone.
just crashed. Bye bye.
Bye.